Hello, BookTube. I've got a question for you. Do you know what happens in 12 hours? I'll tell you what happens in 12 hours. April happens in 12 hours. Do you know what April is? It's the month for Camp NaNoWriMo. Do you know what Camp NaNoWriMo is? It's a spin-off event for NaNoWriMo, which happens every November, National Novel Writing Month, where hundreds of thousands of people all across the world decide to engage in the madcap endeavor of writing the first draft of a 50,000-word novel in the month of November. 1,667 words a day. I love NaNoWriMo. I love the burst, I love the nudge, and I love the community. Even though it's been changed by the pandemic and I don't think it's completely changed back, I still love knowing those people are out there. I know they are. I watch their videos. I read their blogs. I know they're out there. It's an amazing way to make the activity of writing feel a little bit less solitary. And before I knew that NaNoWriMo existed, I had no idea how badly I wanted the act of writing to feel a little bit less solitary. And NaNoWriMo has been such a hit that it has two spin-off events. Camp NaNoWriMo in April and Camp NaNoWriMo in July. And in Camp NaNoWriMo, there is no set word count for whether or not you have won. There's no 50,000 word finish line. Instead, you can write anything you want. You can, the technical rules of NaNoWriMo say that you can only write fiction. It has to be new fiction. You can't be revising something that you've already worked on. And 50,000 words is the goal to know whether or not you have won the event. Camp NaNoWriMo does not operate on those strictures at all. You don't have to write fiction. It doesn't have to be new if it is fiction. You can revise. And it doesn't have to be 50,000 words. You can set your own word limit. The last few times that I've done Camp NaNoWriMo, I have told myself 50,000 words anyway. I didn't want to, eat into the discipline that applies in November. So I decided to keep the same discipline. And I round up. Instead of 1,667 words a day, I do 1,700 words a day. Or 2,000 words a day, something like that. But I don't break it down to individual numbers like that. And I have planned, throughout the month of March, to write a murder mystery in April. Even had something quasi-planned. It's going to involve a famous person from history and his assistant, who sometimes somehow find time in their historical events and endeavors to solve crimes. And I thought, since March is March Mystery Madness, and I'm going to be saturating myself in murder mysteries, I thought I'd be all primed and ready for it. No. March Mystery Madness was a ton of fun, but it raised more questions than it answered for me about the mechanics of murder mysteries. Not just how you make a plot, but who's involved in bringing the guilty people to justice, if anybody. So, a couple of days ago, I quasi-decided that I wouldn't write a murder mystery for April. I thought, phew, well, that's a great mental burden off my mind. What I neglected to do a couple of days ago when I made that decision was decide what I would write instead. So it is now 12 hours until Camp NaNoWriMo, and I have no idea what I'm writing in April. No idea whatsoever. What am I writing for Camp NaNoWriMo in April? That's not a rhetorical question. I want you to give me ideas. This is a parasocial relationship where I vampire all the energy and ideas and content off you. So, what am I writing for Camp NaNoWriMo in April, which is 12 hours away? I don't know that it can be historical, because that would require more research than I can do in 12 hours. I do have other writing obligations I have to do in that time, plus the bean, plus reading. Although, I say that, but one year this exact thing happened to me, not for Camp NaNoWriMo, but for NaNoWriMo itself, where I had it planned completely. I think I was talking about it on this channel. I had a plan completely set out in my mind, and at the last minute I realized I didn't want to write it, that I wanted to write something historical instead, about Queen Mary. And I wrote a novel for NaNoWriMo, a first draft of a novel called The Winter Queen, and I loved it. Had a great time doing it. So it can work. Is that going to happen again? I don't like the idea of waiting for inspiration to strike. I don't have any talent. Inspiration is for people who do. I fear that if I wait too much longer, inspiration will not strike and I will not do anything. The key thing about any NaNoWriMo event is that you must hit the ground running. You must not rack up days where you think, well, I'll make up headwind later on. You will not do that. In Camp NaNoWriMo, you don't have to worry about it because you don't have a set word count, but you shouldn't do it anyway. I don't want to do it. I definitely want to be writing something for Camp NaNoWriMo, and I want to know what it is But what is it? I have no idea. Should it be historical fiction? Should it be a contemporary romance, which would require very little in the way of research, when I don't have to block out my characters? Sword and sorcery? Epic fantasy? I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I'm not one of these writer types that has a notebook full of possible story ideas. Not anything of the kind. So, what do you think I should do? I've got, well, at the time I'm making this video, by the time you see it, it'll be a lot less than 12 hours. But at the time I'm making this video, I have 12 hours. By the time you see this video, will I have come up with a solution to this dilemma? Will I have come up with what I want to write for NaNoWriMo? Camp NaNoWriMo in April? I have no idea. I don't want to miss it. I definitely don't want to miss it. So what do? It's a full-blown catastrophe. And if I'm not going to share full-blown catastrophes with my imaginary booktube friends, who am I going to share them with? My little dog? Does not care. So, sing out. Any help would be greatly appreciated, and I will give you an update tomorrow. Thank you, booktube.